Okay. Sorry we're doing this on a Friday night again. But I found out earlier that I have to work on Saturday, and I was toying with the idea of doing it Saturday night because I get off a little bit earlier than usual. Uh, so it would have been like around 8 o'clock on Saturday, probably later than that, more like 8:30 or 9. But figured, well, I'm gonna be working all day. I'll probably be exhausted by the time I get home, and won't really be on my A game. So I figured, well, if I gotta leave tomorrow, that means I leave early tomorrow. That means I can't go out and do anything tonight. So as long as I'm here, I might as well just get the Impact review out of the way. So that's why I'm here tonight. Got a couple people in the chat room, so at least a few of you are around. So yeah, let's just do the review. And then we can all settle in and watch some Netflix or something. I don't know. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me. All right, cool. Yeah. All right. Let's just get this thing started. So, Impact from April the 20th, 2017. All right. Here's the problem with this show right now. There's too many damn people on it. All right, the problem is that Jeff Jarrett and this new regime, all the Anthem people, this new writing team that he's brought in, they're getting so far ahead of themselves that they can't see where they're going. They're so caught up in this idea of making this new regime a new beginning for the company, a fresh start, and starting not just with a bang, but with some huge, colossal explosion, that they don't take into account the problems you often run into when you don't take the time to do things right. And thus, we have the show they're putting on right now, where they're introducing so many new people and trying to do so many new things all at once, but there's hardly any actual focus on any of them. That's why you've got a world title match punctuated by the heavily teased heel turn of one of the company's top stars, lost in the middle of the show and never followed up on. That's why a former world champion who returned to the company just last week barely makes an appearance on this one. That's why an actual proper X Division rivalry with genuine build-up suddenly becomes another multi-man spot fest where the only one-on-one feud you had to care about in the division is apparently shelved just so they can go in a completely different direction with a completely different champion, only to then immediately take the attention off the new champion by switching to the focus on a feud between the fucking announcers. A feud that, as far as I can tell, nobody even wants to see. Also, the priorities of this new writing team are pretty questionable. I mean, they've already got more talent than they can possibly feature on just 2 hours of TV a week, and they just keep bringing in more people. All the time. Forcing them to make all these unnecessary and in some cases ill-advised changes just to accommodate everybody. Hence why Trevor Lee versus Andrew Everett suddenly becomes a six-man car wreck won by one of two returning stars who ended up getting overshadowed by a debuting star. Also the announce team feud. And speaking of that match, that's a great example of the weird shift in priorities all of a sudden. I mean, I love the X Division as much as anybody. I liked seeing them get a lot of time for their match for a change, and I appreciate the match being treated like it really matters, because God knows that hasn't happened in a while. But from a simple storytelling perspective, James Storm versus Lashley in the EC3 heel turn should have been the main event. That was the biggest thing that happened. It was the biggest cliffhanger you could have gone out on. But instead, it's sandwiched in the middle of the show, and you cut away from EC3's heel turn way too damn quickly to a backstage pre-tape so Pritchard can announce the name of another guy in the X Division match, and then they go to commercial, and then James Storm, Lashley, and the newly minted heel EC3 are never even mentioned again. Completely undermining the biggest angle that happened all night. So, yeah, there's a distressing lack of focus in this writing team. They're just getting way too ahead of themselves, trying to do so much stuff so quickly that it feels like they're already getting lost. Like they're getting too excited and just trying to do too much stuff. You know, this show would really benefit from maybe I don't want to say a slower pace because that's not right, but a tighter focus on the important stuff. Like instead of introducing 20 people all at once, how about you introduce one person? Focus on getting that person over for a couple of weeks, and then if that person gets over, they start to work, you put them into a feud where they get featured and highlighted, and then introduce another person, or a tag team, or a knockout. Then focus on getting that person over. Make sure they get highlighted, make sure they get featured on a week-to-week basis for a couple of weeks, and if that character starts to click, you get them in a storyline, get them in a feud where they get featured, and then introduce somebody else. Doesn't it seem like a more effective way to get some of these people over than just introducing like 20, 30, 40, 50 people in like the span of like 3 weeks? It might be a less exciting way to do it, but it would probably be more effective in the long run. I mean, I'm still trying to remember. You're seeing so many new people in such a short span of time. I'm still struggling to remember all these people's fucking names. Anyway, the show begins with a hype video for the James Storm Bobby Lashley world title match. And we got James Storm talking about when he won the world title the first time and what was going through his mind and how he reacted and how he made sure to look up to the heavens and thank his dad and say, hey, Dad, I did it and this is for you and all that stuff and what it really meant to him. And we go to Bobby Lashley and he's saying, look, we'll skip over the part where he kind of took a line from Roman Reigns there. No need to focus on that. No, let's just forget about that part. But now you say, no, look, anyone who wants to take this title from me, they're taking food off my kid's table and all that stuff. It's a really good video. And it's a pretty lengthy one, too. It goes for a little while. A couple of minutes. And it's really good hype for this match. So much so that you'd think this match probably would have been the main event. But you'd be wrong. Anyway, our first proper match is LAX beating... God, I had to write these guys' names down. Joe Coleman and Jake Holmes, but who are we kidding? Their names for tonight were Jobber number 1 and Jobber number 2. It's a quick squash just to make LAX look good. Squash matches have their place, especially for new acts like LAX that you're trying to get over. It's not really necessary when you have guys like Bobby Lashley or Alberto El Patron come out to squash some jobber. Then you're just wasting time. But for people like LAX, it's helpful. So they're impressive in their squash match. I'm liking LAX a lot. And then they have a promo where Conan introduces all the new LAX members. We get Diamante, we got Santana, we got Ortiz, and this is really good, and why didn't he do this weeks ago? I'm not sure. But anyway, excuse me, they're interrupted when the Decay come out, and they were probably building up fucking Reno Scum to be the first people to challenge LAX for the tag titles, but one of them tore his bicep, so they're out for the time being. And so apparently the fallback plan was to do the fucking feud that they should have built the new tag team division around in the first goddamn place, with Decay versus LAX. If only it had been tag team champions Decay versus LAX, like I suggested. I thought that would have been the best way to go, but. Course correction here. At least we're going in the right direction now. So the Decay come out and the fight starts, and despite being outnumbered 5-3, the Decay actually looks strong here, and they put up a really good fight. It's a good brawl, and it sucks that this is happening after several weeks of the Decay getting jobbed out. But like I said, this is what this new tag division should have started with. This feud. This is what it should have been built around, with the other teams being introduced slowly, one at a time, or when you had a spot for them. Like I said, they just brought all these new teams in all at once. And says, no, just find one good feud. Take your one established team and the new LAX and play them off each other and then introduce the new team slowly when you have a spot. But no, they tried to do too much and they got ahead of themselves and they made some mistakes there. But course correction, we're going in the right direction now. It was a hot segment. It got me excited to see this feud. And then I realized that Crazy Steve just left the company and suddenly I'm depressed. God damn it. What a fucking waste. But we'll get at least one match with Decay and LAX, so there's that. So we cut from that really good segment to something that is far less good. Oh boy, a Karen Jarrett promo. Yay! So Karen comes out with a microphone because the writers hate me. And she announces that Impact Wrestling and Global Force Wrestling have officially merged and become one. And, which begs the question, why should we give a shit? Is this even worth mentioning? Does anyone other than the Jarretts even give a shit about Global Force Wrestling? The company, to say they got off the ground would have been generous. They taped a bunch of TV that will never air. They couldn't get a TV deal. Last I heard, Jeff was trying to parlay the brand into some kind of pyramid scheme. Who cares? Oh, you merged with Global Force Wrestling. So? So the fuck what? This isn't news. Just take whatever people from the roster you want and be done with it. Throw the belts in the garbage with the fucking King of the Mountain title, and let's just move the fuck on. So, after that bombshell, she announces 3 title matches. Rosemary versus ODB, Trevor Lee versus Andrew Everett, whose name she mispronounced, by the way. Apparently it's Everett now. And Lashley versus James Storm. And then Sanjay Dutt comes out, and what the fuck? No. God damn it. No. You could have called. You had all day to call me, and now it is fucking 10 p.m. So anyway, Sanjay Dutt comes out. He talks about the X Division, and fucking lost my place now. But yeah, Sanjay Dutt comes back. He was involved in Global Force Wrestling, so we gotta have him, apparently. So he comes out and... Ah! So Sanjay wants... God damn it. Completely lost my place now. So anyway, Sanjay's back. Okay? He grabs a mic, and he starts talking about the X Division, of which he was a pioneer of. And the subject turns to the X Division title match tonight, and he wants in. And I guess because he was in Global Force Wrestling, he can just make this demand. He can say, I was in GFW, goddammit, so I should be added to the title match tonight. And, well, he really doesn't have any other justification to be in there, so apparently he can just make this demand. But anyway, Andrew Everett comes out, and he's got a problem with this. He respects Sanjay, but Trevor Lee and the X Division title belong to him. They're his and his alone, and that's a fair complaint. He's been jumping through all these hoops for weeks to earn an X Division title shot. He really is the next person in line at this point, and then here comes this guy who hasn't been in the company in years and says, I want in this title match, I should be in there, without having to earn a spot in it at all. So if I'm Andrew Everett, I'm a little pissed off about that. So I can't blame him for getting in Sanjay's face. And then Shane Helms and Trevor Lee come out, and Helms actually makes a good point. He says, if Sanjay he's the best wrestler to never win the X Division title, if he never won the title, maybe he just sucks. And there's a ring of truth to that, actually. I mean, I've always liked Sanjay, but he was never really a major player in the X Division. I mean, realistically, he was a utility player. Best wrestler to never win the title? Yeah, probably, but maybe there was a reason for that. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean to the guy. It's just, brutal reality of it. And so before Karen can make the match official, Shane Helms gets in her face. He says, you're not making anything because I run the X Division. And then Bruce Pritchard comes out because we got a whole consortium of authority figures now, and they all need screen time, apparently. So Pritchard gets in Helms' face and says that Helms doesn't run a damn thing, which is weird because in previous weeks, Shane Helms was making matches like he had booking power, but now all of a sudden he doesn't? Is he a part of management or not? They've never made this, they've never clarified this. First he seemed to have booking power, now he doesn't. Make up your damn minds. But anyway, so this week, Shane Helms has no booking power. He's not in charge of anything. So Bruce Pritchard takes Sanjay's idea, and he makes the match. And the X Division title match is going to be the main event, but instead of a 2-way or a 3-way, it's going to be a 6-way. Because who gives a shit about one-on-one feuds when we can do another multi-man car wreck, train wreck, spot fest thing? Because we don't have enough of those in the X Division, right? No. Honestly, could we just do a one-on-one match instead? I was really looking forward to Trevor Lee versus Andrew Everett. Because the X Division needs more one-on-one rivalries. But no, that's not what we're getting. Because we need this multi-man match to introduce all these new people. Because we got a whole army of wrestlers backstage all of a sudden. They all need TV time now. So we have a video package on Don't Call Me Crimson Anthony Mayweather. Yeah, so Crimson's coming back. I guess he's not dropping the Crimson name, which sucks because that was a great name and a super marketable name, but now he's just going to be Anthony Mayweather, I guess. Or whatever. I would have kept the Crimson name, but that's just me. So he talks about his backstory, I guess, and growing up without a dad and not knowing who his father is and trying to be a better person for his son. And getting into a lot of trouble as a kid, and that led him to joining the army, which helped straighten him out and all that stuff. It's a good video package. It makes him look like an easy guy to root for. To be honest, if they were going to do a military themed tag team, I would have made them heels. Just because doing a gimmick like that in when the political landscape is what it is, it kind of feels a little bit like propaganda to me. So I would have flipped the script, turned that on its head, and make them heels. Maybe heels who support Donald Trump or something, just to really get under people's skin. Besides, Crimson was way better as a heel than a face anyway. But yeah, I'm excited for Crimson to come back. Apparently it's next week, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, good video. And then we have a match that I was really worried about because I was afraid the outcome was going to be not the one that I wanted. We got ODB challenging for the Knockouts title against the champion, Rosemary. And JB, as Rosemary is making her entrance, JB calls her one of the most dominant Knockouts champions in years. And though this may or may not be true, this may be true, even though she's only defended the title a couple of times since she won it. But if that's what you're going with, why not mention that she's still technically undefeated? Been in the company over a year now, and she has not been pinned or submitted once. Do something with that. If you want to build her up as this super dominant monster heel, mention that she's fucking undefeated. There are things you can do with a gimmick like that. Come on, man. Anyway, the match is very refreshing in that it's pretty much exactly what I wanted and exactly what should have happened. It's a pretty short match, apparently because the writers saw ODB's performance at Victory Road and realized that she can't go more than a couple of minutes without gassing out. So they keep it real short, and Rosemary wins. She blocks the Bronco Buster with a boot to the crotch, hits the Red Wedding, and that's all she wrote. Thank you. It's a quick enhancement match to make Rosemary look good, and that's it. Thank you. Exactly what should have happened. And that was really nice. I breathed a big sigh of relief when that happened. Because I was very worried that they were actually going to put ODB over and have her win the title. That would be terrible. But I'll tell you what was terrible. After the commercial, we cut backstage to another Karen Jarrett segment. Because fuck knows this company would go straight down the shitter if Karen fucking Jarrett wasn't all over this show like a bad rash. So, Sienna confronts Karen. Because apparently, along with this GFW merger, are GFW talents. And it seems the GFW Women's Champion is walking around backstage somewhere, and Sienna resents this. She resents the fact that this person is just allowed to waltz in and infringe upon their division. And, you know, it's a good point, actually. Because everybody else had to earn their spots on the roster, and here comes this person who got in by virtue of being part of a company that failed. Just because apparently she's tight with the new management. So they didn't have to do shit to get in. So once again, Sienna comes off like a total babyface for not putting up with Karen's bullshit. And yet they continue to present her as the heel for doing so, which is absolutely asinine. So anyway, Karen says that Sienna will meet this woman soon enough. So I guess Christina Von Eerie is going to be showing up pretty soon. Sure, why not? I mean, you've already got more knockouts than you could possibly feature on a weekly basis, with many of them, including the champion of the frickin' division, not even appearing on the show regularly. So by all means, let's add another one. Because she's the Global Force Wrestling Women's Champion, and God knows we can't pass up star power like that, right? Jesus Christ. Then we see Hornswoggle in the audience. Yeah, he's still around. Not really sure what to say about that. So anyway, they show that promo package again of Sienna wanting revenge on Allie and Braxton Sutter, and the debut of Congo Kong, or the Fury, or whatever we're calling him. And if you think about it, this really doesn't make sense at all. Really, it should be Laurel Van Ness in the video. It should be Laurel who wants revenge on Allie and Sutter. She's the one who has reason to hate them. She's the one who got like jilted and humiliated at the altar and turned into a sobbing drunken wreck. Why does Sienna want revenge on them? Revenge for what? Think about it. What did Allie and Sutter do? Well, primarily, they're responsible for Maria having a nervous breakdown and leaving the company, but that led directly to Sienna having a much bigger role on the show, to where now she's basically leading her own stable. If anything, Allie and Sutter did Sienna a huge favor. So why does she hate them now? Why does she want revenge on them? Revenge for fucking what? The whole thing just, it doesn't make sense. It should be Laurel in that video. It should be Laurel doing this angle. It's just, it's just a weird swerve. I don't understand. So anyway, we cut back to the ring where Congo Kong squashes Chris Silvio from OVW, and Squash is right because he just flattens that dude like a fucking pancake. Poor Chris Silvio. Good God. So yeah, this is another case where squash matches are actually effective. Because you do that to introduce new talent. Yeah, you don't need this for the fucking main eventers who we already know are total badasses and can beat just about anybody. But for new talent, getting over new talent, this is effective. This works. So, fine. Although, Impact Management, please, for the love of God, make Congo Kong wear a shirt. I mean, cover those man boobies up. Jesus Christ, he's got bigger boobs than Laurel Van Ness and Sienna. That is, it's unsightly. I'm sorry. I mean, if he's gonna cosplay as Big Bad Mama from Married with Children, Big Bad Mama would wear a shirt. God damn it! Come on, man, cover that shit up. So anyway, we have a promo cut on location by Alberto El Patron. He's somewhere else right now, and so he's talking about Lashley and the World Championship, and he seems oddly heelish here, which I'm pretty sure was not the intention. But he's saying that Lashley stole something from him, stole the World Championship from him, and he really didn't. Yeah, he did technically get a victory over Bobby Lashley, but then it was not without controversy, and then he was very quick to relinquish the title back to Lashley because he didn't want to win it that way. That was the story they went with, but now Lashley stole something from him? What? It's just this weird retcon that they did here. And then we go to Magnus, cutting a backstage promo with McKenna, and Magnus is now claiming to be the number one contender because by virtue of his getting the win in the six-man tag from last week. And he addresses El Patron's claims, and he kind of refutes them, saying, "Oh, well, hey, I got the win in that six-man tag. What have you done since you've been here, El Patron? You mean what has he done here? You mean besides pinning the world champion?" So I guess they're setting up Patron versus Magnus at some point, but it's really strange the route they took here because, frankly, neither of them made a good argument. And both of them actually came off looking heelish. Maybe one of them was supposed to be heelish, but I'm honestly not sure which one. Very strange promos here. So we come to James Storm versus Bobby Lashley in the hour main event spot. A spot it really shouldn't have been in. I'm sorry. And so Lashley brings out Josh Matthews with him. And they don't really explain why. Josh just says, he came back to save the show or something. If this was a case of Lashley wanting Josh Matthews to announce his matches, I don't think they if that was the reason, I don't think they mentioned it. There really isn't an explanation for this, just Josh came back to save the show. So you had this big cathartic celebration, this big match that you built up to for several weeks, and you basically have a big party with all the babyface roster coming out to go na goodbye, Josh, bye, don't come back, don't let the door hit you on the way out. To commemorate Josh leaving just last week, and then you bring him back 1 week later. Like, so for what purpose? Just to mess with people? This is not good storytelling. This is just jerking the fans around. Okay, if he was going to come back 1 week later, then why did you have a party at the end of last week's show? I'm sorry, this story is just, it's not well constructed. If that's the way that's what they're going with, no, that's not good. So Josh is back. So it's right back to him and JB being at each other's throats instead of calling the action, which continues to be very distracting and continues to take away from the show, and I really don't know why they're doing it. It's a good match. James Storm sends Lashley flying off the top rope to the mat at one point, which is really impressive every time I see it, because you really don't expect a guy that big to take a bump like that. But yeah, good match. I think their last one was probably better, but still really good stuff. At some point, EC3 comes out, and he shows up at ringside to just watch the match. And at this point, you pretty much know what's going to happen. So there's a ref bump because it's a world title match booked. It's a title match booked by Jeff Jarrett. So fuck knows we always have to have a ref bump. Honestly, I'm surprised there was only one ref bump, because Jarrett just loves those things to death. But anyway, ref bump. Storm has the match won, but the ref is unconscious. And then Storm... It's a very strange finish. Storm grabs a beer bottle that Josh previously offered to Lashley to hit Storm with, but EC3 stopped him. So there's a beer bottle out there. He's about to hit Lashley with it. So basically, Storm's about to cheat to win the match. EC3 grabs the bottle and hits him with it and costs him the match. Lashley wakes up, spear, 1, 2, 3, Lashley retains. EC3's a heel now. And he would have looked a lot more despicable had he not stopped Storm when Storm was about to cheat. Okay, yeah, Lashley brought a chair into the match first, but two wrongs don't necessarily make a right here. I mean, Storm was still trying to win the match in a dirty way. It kind of took the edge off the heel turn, because Storm doesn't really look like he got screwed over. He looks like someone stopped him from screwing over Lashley. Again, I really don't know what they were going for. But, again, you pretty much knew EC3 was turning heel here, and you knew he was going to screw over Storm in some capacity. But this is the EC3 heel that I think we needed to have for a while now. I mean, not that he wasn't working as a babyface, but he had been pretty aimless. So I think a heel turn was needed. I think we're going to get the take no prisoners heel character EC3, where he's just gonna fucking start tearing into people on the microphone and just as only he can. And I think it's gonna be good. I think we needed the heel EC3 back, and I'm really excited to see this, even if the way they did it was kind of ill-conceived and predictable. But god damn it. They cut away from this way too damn quickly. I'm sorry. And for God's sake. No, I don't want to talk to you right now. I'm doing something. Christ's sake. So then they cut away. They cut away from this way too damn quickly. They should have stayed on this. Or if you had to cut away, it should have been to a commercial. Fuck. It should have been cut away to commercial, and then come back, and then show replays, and let the whole thing sink in, and talk about what this means, and why EC3 did what he did. Just spend some time on it. Don't just cut away. They cut away to a completely unrelated backstage pre-tape where Pritchard is like, oh yeah, Desmond Xavier is in the X Division match. And you don't know who he is, but he's in the X Division match. And then they go to commercial, and then they come back, and they don't mention the fucking EC3 heel turn at all for the rest of the night. I don't think they mentioned James Storm or Bobby Lashley either. What the fuck? It's like it's completely forgotten about. This was the main angle of the show. This is the fucking should-be main event angle of the show. And you treat it like it's just some, like just another thing that happened. Because there's so much other stuff they have to get to, they don't have time to focus on it. So they completely take all the wind out of the sail. God damn it! I'm going to have to deal with that at some point. So anyway, we come back, and apparently Chris Adonis attacked Moose on the Indies or something, but now he has a broken arm, so he can't face Moose in an actual match, and I feel like we missed something here. Was there some kind of YouTube video that explained this? Because I feel like there's an entire storyline that just happened off screen at some point. But no, he can't fight Chris Adonis. So instead, Adonis has enlisted Davey Richards to fight Moose instead. And wow, talk about so we skipped over the shit sandwich and we're going straight to the filet mignon, I guess. So we don't get. So we're spared a Chris Masters match, but we get Davey Richards versus Moose instead. Can we just have that? Can we just have that be a feud? Because this is, quite frankly, this is a big fucking step up. So yeah, Moose versus Davey Richards next week. That'll be great. The only problem is if that's build up for Moose versus Chris Masters, the payoff is not going to be anywhere near as good as the build up. Yeah. So then we come to the X Division match. And they actually devoted quite a lot of time to this. I think there was like 20 plus minutes by the time they got to it. Of course, a lot of that was the introductions. Intros and stuff. So X Division title match, main event. We got Sanjay Dutt versus Suicide. Because we just had to dress up Caleb Conley in some gaudy Halloween costume that no one gives a shit about, because reasons. Versus Desmond Xavier. Versus Andrew Everett. Versus Trevor Lee. Versus Low Key. Returning Low Key. Who shows up in a suit. With the longest fucking tie I've ever seen. That thing went all the way down to his crotch. Okay. Cool to see Low Key back. I mean, I thought he retired. I thought he went into voiceovers or something. But yeah, anyway, I mean, Low Key, I think he's like still, I think he's like 37 or something. So I mean, the guy could probably still go. I haven't seen him in a while, but he could probably still go pretty hard when he wants to. But he's wrestling in a suit. And quite frankly, it is awkward as hell. And they don't even explain why. They don't explain anything about this. Why is he wrestling in a suit? Oh, here's why he's wrestling in a suit, because of A, B, C. No, it's never even mentioned. Now, this was explained to me by someone. Apparently, he's doing a gimmick where he's dressing up like Hitman from those video games that I've never played and those terrible movies that I've never watched. All right. I still think it's awkward as hell that he's wrestling in a suit. It just looks weird. I'm sorry. And if you're going to do something awkward like that, fucking explain it, please. But anyway, It's a great fucking match. You saw it. I think all right. There's a big stretch in the second half where it's mostly just Trevor Lee and Andrew Everett, and everyone else is just like lying outside the ring somewhere, which really begs the question of if you knew you were kind of ham-fisting a six-man tag into a spot where a one-on-one match should be, so why not just do the one-on-one match? Why are you making it a six-man? Was it really just a vehicle to introduce a bunch of new people, returning people, all at once? So the one-on-one feud gets hindered just for the sake of introducing new people. All right, Low-Key wins when, if you were going to do it, if there was going to be a new champion, it really should have been Andrew Everett, because he's the guy who had all the build-up for it. And so now you've got Low-Key winning the title when he was actually overshadowed in this match, not just by Andrew Everett, but also by Desmond Xavier. Those were the two guys who really stood out. Maybe because Low-Key couldn't really cut loose because he was uncomfortable and overheated by wrestling in a fucking suit. I don't know. But anyway, Low-Key's the champion. All right. Okay. That's what we're going with. I hope the Lee Everett feud isn't shoved aside or whatever. Hope that's still a thing. But, okay, we got Low-Key as the new champion. And then we immediately cut away from that so JB can punch out Josh Matthews. And that's what we end on. Not the returning star winning the title. No, we cut back. We end the show with the announcers feud, thus undermining the main event and the return of a former star and the title change that they hyped up like a big deal. It was a big deal if this was the main event. And then we cut away from it because we have to focus on the announcers. This wasn't a bad show, really. It was actually quite a good show. It just had too many things happening, too much of the focus on the wrong stuff, and certain things positioned in the wrong spots on the card. And then there's this JB Josh feud. Why? Why is this even a thing? Seriously, was anyone asking for this to continue? Anyone? I can't think of a single person I know that's enjoying it. And all it does is distract from the stuff that we should be focusing on instead. But, hey, we had some really exciting action here. Like I said, the main event match kicked ass. Seriously. Most exciting X Division match in hell, I don't know, months? Maybe? I mean, as car wreck spot fests go, this was fucking great. I just wish we'd had a one-on-one match, because you gotta build fucking rivalries. You can't just have, a bunch of stuntmen doing crazy spots. You gotta build actual feuds and rivalries and characters here, but I guess that's not the direction they're going in. But yeah, still a great match. We had some really exciting action here, and the show overall does have a lot more energy to it, even though there's way too much stuff happening way too quickly for my tastes. And that was Impact. And let's just get to some stuff here in the chat room real quick, because I gotta call this asshole back. He knows I don't like it when he calls me so fucking late. He's calling me during normal work hours. God damn it. This guy has no idea what he's doing. This chat room is still doing this thing where I can't see the things at the top of it. The fuck? Come on. Thoughts. Yeah, the knockout match was shit. Well, yeah, ODB was in it. What the fuck do you expect? JB did mention that Rosemary was undefeated. Did he? I know he mentioned that he called her the most dominant knockouts champion in years. I don't know if he mentioned she was undefeated. If he did, I missed it. If he mentioned that, good. Do something with that. Are you planning to go back to the old format eventually? I enjoy and miss the old skits and editing. Possibly. I switched to the live stream format because at the time I just didn't have the time. I didn't have the hours in the day to do all the scripting and the editing and all that stuff, because that stuff actually took a while. Shooting the video would take like up to an hour or more, because I would do lots of takes, like lots of retakes, just to make sure I got everything right. And then I'd spend a long time editing it. I mean, editing could take a couple hours sometimes, depending on how long the video was. And it was just eating up a lot of my time. That was time that I didn't have, which is why I switched to live streams. And honestly, these are a lot quicker and easier to do. So I kind of figure I'll stick with live streams for now. I might go back to the post-produced videos at some point, but for now, these are just easier. Rumors are that Homicide left. Jesus Christ, already? Good Lord. I'm busy. Got a thing going here, please. Yeah, did he get around to seeing Knockouts Knockdown One Night Only yet? Yeah, I saw it. Victory Road Knockouts Knockdown, because I guess they had to give it 2 titles for some reason. Yeah, mixed bag. I'm possibly going to be doing a HeelCast episode where we talk about that, so I'm going to save my thoughts for that episode, which we might be recording on Sunday, but don't quote me on that. All right, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to skip over a lot of these because I got to make a phone call, but... Thoughts on Impact returning to premiering on Spike UK? Do you think it's testing the water for Impact returning to Spike US? Possibly. I mean, they want to grow their audience. They got to get on a better network, because most people don't even know Pop TV exists. I didn't know Pop TV existed until they debuted on Pop TV. So yeah, they're probably laying the groundwork for a return to Spike. Which, I mean, ironically, lots of people, myself included, were saying they had to get off of Spike a couple of years ago. God damn it! All right, I gotta make this quick, you guys, because this guy's probably getting annoyed. Even though, what the hell does he expect calling me at 10:30 p.m. on a fucking Friday? Yeah, Spike didn't want anything to do with Dixie Carter. Yeah. Okay, with Dixie Carter's gone, Spike has no problems possibly bringing them back. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Impact seems to change direction every taping. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. They gotta pick a direction and they gotta stick with it. They seem to have some kind of problem with this for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. Do you think this might lead to a match or street fight between JB and Josh? God, I hope not. Or do you think they're annoying them on purpose so Impact will bring back Don West and Mike Tenay to join Pope on commentary? Don West, possibly. Mike Tenay, I hope not, honestly. Honestly, Tenay should have been replaced a long time ago. A long time before he actually was replaced. I mean, like years before he actually was replaced. I mean, God bless the guy, I respect him, but he was sleepwalking through his announced duties for a long time. I mean, they needed to go with someone else. I know a lot of people don't like Josh Matthews, but I'll take Josh Matthews over Mike Tenay. I'm sorry. That's the way I feel. That said, I would also take JB over Josh Matthews. I just don't know why they're turning this into a feud. Jesus Christ. Do you think Sanjay was supposed to win the X title on the live show and Impact changed the finish at the last minute on the fly during the match because Sanjay injured his eye really bad on the show? I don't think so. I mean, he was still wrestling after he got injured. No, I suspect low-key was probably the planned finish all along. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm skipping over so many of these, but I really do need to wrap this up because this guy is not going away. Good. Apparently, Robbie E. and Bram are now a tag team in Pro Wrestling Noah, as known as the Bro Down. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I heard about that. Oh, God, poor Bram. Do they just want him to quit? Because this is the kind of thing you do to a person that you want to quit. Booking him in a tag team with Robbie E. Why? How does that make any fucking sense at all? That's horrible! God, the chef is gonna fucking shoot himself in the head when he sees this. Right. And okay, yeah, Bram can't quit because he's signed about 3,000 contract extensions. Yeah, I know, right? Josh said he's the greatest of all time, but him and JB got into a Twitter feud because of that comment. Yeah, I also heard that was they were kind of doing like a parody version of the JBL bullying stuff. So who the hell knows? Guys, I gotta go. I gotta take care of this. And this guy's gonna keep calling back until I deal with this. So I gotta make a phone call. Thanks everybody for joining me. I'm sorry we're doing this on a Friday night, but this was really the best time I could do it. It was easier to do it tonight than on Saturday when I would have been, having to work all day and just would have been dead tired when I got home. So thanks for joining me tonight. I will see you guys on Thursday, where we'll be talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and also Arrow and The Flash are back as well. So we'll be talking about that. And yeah, follow me on Twitter at TheRealFK9 for updates whenever I have to change the time and date of a live stream. So yeah, follow me on Twitter. Thanks for joining me. Peace out.